Tired of winning the tailgate but losing the games? We can't help that. But we can tell you what the hell is up with each team and what's going on across sunny San Marcos. Texas State fans, get on your feet. You're listening to Squarin' Around with Jacob Rodriguez and Andrew Zimmel.
Welcome to Squaring Around. I am the Texas State Sports Prez, Andrew Zimmel. That is our faithful producer, co-host, and first responder, Jacob Rodriguez. And Jacob, I think we got to start this episode with thoughts and prayers. I'm from the Hill Country, grew up in Bandera, Texas. Kerrville's just up the road from me. I was blessed. My parents didn't deal with any real fallout from the natural disaster, the flash floods that we have suffered in Bexar County and Kerr County and Comel and everywhere else. But it's been tragic to see, Jacob.
Dude, talk about it. I mean, Bandera County is actually included in the expanded disaster declaration that Governor Abbott signed. Was that yesterday? All these days are like the same.
No, they run together.
Yeah, all these days are running together for me. And you put yourself in somebody else's shoes who's dealing with a lot more. You know, you talk about how connected the Hill Country is. That's what makes Texas State's little groove in the Hill Country so special to us, because we have a lot of friends, extended family, a lot of other things. You know, my dad went to high school at Georgetown, so the Hill Country is super special to me too. They're now dealing with flooding too from like different systems and stuff. Across Texas, at this point in time, we're recording this Sunday, July 6th, basically at midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of things kind of in the air, a lot of numbers that they're throwing around. It's super sad. It's been tough. I'll be honest.
Well, I'll talk to you from my end of it, right? Because you were very much more journalism boots on the ground than I was. Ironically, being a radio station, you think that we would probably do a little bit more, but I felt like watching what you guys were doing on the TV side of things, I was really, really impressed, not only by y'all's coverage at Ken's, but just the entire media market in San Antonio. I thought they did a lot of really good reporting. I was keeping up with this weather early last week. So let's call it Monday, Tuesday is when we started seeing like the storm cells kind of forming here. And I didn't think it was going to be like this. Did anybody? What about you on your end of things? Your meteorologist, did anybody at your place be like, oh no, we're going to get really bad flooding? Because I didn't hear about it.
Well, anytime you have like a Pacific like pressure, or I don't know what that's called, but a Pacific system come in as like a low and it's waiting to like go over, like it's kind of like anybody's thing. And they were saying in the press conference today, Sunday again, for anybody listening at home or wondering why we're talking about the past. But they were saying that it like the storm dumped like nearly 100 billion gallons of water on like the North Fork and the South Fork of the river as they converge. That's
Guadalupe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's insane to think about that.
Oh yeah, man. And like, I'll be honest, selfishly, 4th of July, I was like, this is awful. My 4th of July plans are up in smoke. And then I'm seeing all of the fallout from this, right? Because it was an immediate impact that we saw. And I want to get to the Texas State part of this here in a second, but I just do want to put like a bow on it and say that, you know, for the families who are missing loved ones, for the people who are still missing that could be found too. Like, I think that it's not open and shut. You totally could have a situation in a couple hours from us recording this where you find more people. So we're praying for that, obviously.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think this is where you were leading into, but Texas State did the right thing in shutting down their pack at the park party that they're having tomorrow. Sewell Park actually just opened up again today because they were also having like clarity issues and different things. Not that the watersheds are directly interconnected, but there's just been rain, a bunch of rain just getting dumped over Central Texas over the past couple weeks.
And it's close enough to me that I wouldn't want to play with that if I was Texas State. I don't want to give any opportunity for any bad things to happen. You don't know how this weather will change. You open it up one day, you might have to close it the next. I think they did the right thing, honestly.
Well, yeah, now I was looking at Instagram, and I have a few friends that I didn't realize, I guess, like how big like those camps were, like for girls. These are huge girls camps. There's apparently 6 really big girls camps. Camp Mystic being one of the biggest ones, and that's where
probably the most famous now.
Yeah, and And so like I just go on my Instagram story. It's like every other girl I feel like has some sort of connection to that place. So it's
Yeah.
incredibly heartbreaking.
Well, and like I said, I have an intimate or I guess connection, I should say, to Kerrville being just up the road from Bandera. So to see, luckily I was blessed not to have anybody in directly in my connection circle to be, suffering from any real loss of life, loss of property. But the friends of friends that you see, the people who you met one time at 11th Street or whatever, like to see those people suffer loss, it's just is truly heartbreaking.
Yeah. And it's been the hill country has been like our playground too as young men, you know?
Yeah.
Like I had a few bachelor parties over there. I've gone camping. I've done so many things. I've run trail races in the hill country in the Rock Springs area, Fredericksburg, wine country, you know? So
Yeah.
it's super sad because it's truly God's country, you know?
Yeah, and Texas State's doing a lot, hopefully, to help. I've seen the links get shared around. We'll probably put one in the comments of this video too. If you want to give and donate, I think that might be a good idea. I know that Jacob and I probably are going to do more than just donate our time, because I think, we'll get to it a little bit later. There's a whirlwind for me on this other end too, because I got a lot going on this side of things. So I don't know how much I'm going to be able to go back to Kerrville, but I do think that if you have a chance to go and help, because I remember I think it was 2015, 2016, Wimberley suffered a really bad flooding situation, and Texas State was right there. Bobcats were there to help out that community as they're so close to Wimberley. So if you have the opportunity to go help Kerrville or Hunt or any of these other small towns got completely torn apart, I would encourage you to do that.
Yeah, I know a bunch of dudes that are donating their time. Obviously, first responders, no lifeguards, inside joke, but also, you know, like I don't know, it's really cool to see the community kind of come together because there's a lot of blame game going on. Obviously, that always happens. Um, but this is like flash flood alley, also too. You know, the perfect storm, slightly unprepared, could really do things out
Well,
there.
and we talk about the drought and how bad that is for the watershed, how bad it is for the aquifer, how bad it is for the farmers, everybody else. But like it also encourages flash floods when you have these long droughts and then you get a ton of water really quick. Nothing can soak in. So that is how you end up in a situation like this as well. I think it's been tough.
What did y'all do at the radio station? What was coverage like?
It was a lot of just reporting from 10,000 feet. Look, okay, I'll be completely transparent here. Old school radio, you'd have somebody out there, boots on the ground, they'd be giving reports back to the station. And I don't think a lot of people outside of the local radio stations in Kerrville, maybe Hondo, were doing that. That's not to say that there wasn't good reporting across the state, because there was, but I just was a little bit more surprised that there wasn't anybody boots on the ground there at Kerrville, Hunt, wherever else, right? So that's where I give you guys a lot of credit, because I want to hear the story of Jacob Rodriguez, because there was a lot of reporting. People give Jacob a lot of crap, and rightfully so in some ways, but they give him a lot of crap about being a capital J journalist. And I joke about it. I poke fun of him sometimes as well. But this guy, and look, that's not to say that, other people aren't working hard. This guy's working really, really, really hard during this flood coverage. That's why we're recording at midnight, because he's been on the clock doing stuff since pretty much Thursday, Jacob? Like, I mean, I got to tip my hat to you, buddy.
Yeah, let me just run you guys through what has happened because we released that episode, I guess, Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
I got it out the same day we recorded with Ish. Thank God we did because I would have had no time to do it otherwise. Um, and so Thursday came around and we had like on one of our top stories on Ken's Five that night. That's where I work. Like it was like the flash flooding stuff. So we had like sound with the Department of Emergency Management people, local officials just saying how like dangerous this could be. We had like I think my lead story actually was just Bill, our chief meteorologist, talking about how dangerous stuff can be. And then later that night happens, whatever. Rain comes in just like we forecasted. I wake up at 7 because I'm a big runner guy. I check the forecast. It is pouring. And I was like, I'm probably gonna go to sleep. I had like a tickle in the back of my throat too. So I had taken a Benadryl that night, slept like a baby. And so at 7 a.m., I took another Benadryl, went to Neverland, dude. But my phone starts going insane around like 9 a.m. So I'm like, what the heck? check my phone. My executive producer is just blowing up my phone, blowing up my phone. Yo, can you come in, come in, come in? I was like, oh my goodness. So I threw on my clothes real quick, just ran to the station as fast as I could. I got there at like 9:45, figuring it out. They're telling me, I think at that point we already knew some people had died already. And so we're like trying to figure it out, figuring out where things are, sending crews out. Our morning show team is still on though. And I, as I mentioned, just took my second Benadryl of the morning. I'm a little loopy. I'm not 100%. My boss, Jack, shout out, runs by me and goes, Jacob, come with me. You're going to boot the show. I'm like, oh no, what have I gotten myself into? And so I was in the booth we were wall to wall like all morning long from our morning show. They started at 4:30 a.m. and they were wall to wall, no breaks, no commercials, no anything from 4:30 to 6. And I was in the hot seat for the majority of that time. So it was crazy. And then I produced my own show after that too. So
And then that was Thursday, and
that
then
was
you
just
had
Thursday.
Friday
Yeah, then
to
Friday
roll into.
happened, and it was like more of the same thing, basically, like wall to wall. Another like just myself too, I think. We had like an EP that stayed and helped. Um, but yeah, that was a lot. And then Saturday, I was like, well, I've already been on this story. It's like what I told reporters in college at the Star. Like when you get a big story, like that's your responsibility now. It's like a dog. You gotta take it out. You gotta make sure it has everything that it needs. You gotta make sure it's getting like proper coverage. Otherwise, like you're the one that knows everything now.
Yeah,
You're
no,
the
you
expert.
were doing the wall to wall. Yeah, you know what's going
You know
on,
everything,
and
who
yeah,
was on it. Yeah. And
yeah.
so I started like not leading coverage, but I had like a better idea than the producers who had been like on and off of it. And so I was just in yesterday and today. I have like 104 hours on this check that
There
I'll
you
have.
go.
But that is gut-wrenching stuff because all my friends, you checked on me. Tristan, a bunch of the boys, my other friends too, just that I've collected in my life have all checked up on me. I appreciate it. But it's weird because like you go from covering this thing and it's just terrible. And so it's like, yeah, good job, but also like, dang. So at the end of the day, I just feel kind of empty. And so sports, I
Yeah,
think I didn't realize it, but sports has really been like my thing that I'm grabbing onto for kind of like peace and like fun times. Because what I do for work is not fun at all, usually, especially when I have to lock in like I have been these past couple of days. Like this is really what they pay me to do, like lock in, kind of go numb sometimes and like just be able to go and say, this is the direction we're going in.
and I'll take you behind the scenes too. So you think about, okay, we do the ish video on Wednesday. We did the Danfus interview on Monday. We've been covering the Pac-12 story for a couple weeks now, and then on top of all that, Jacob is like sending the FOIA request out for every single person's paycheck over the last like 6 years. So it's like the dude has been working nonstop. So I do want to, like I said, I feel like it's important, I think, for the people who listen to the podcast, because we really appreciate you guys. That there are a lot, like this is not something that I say just to say it. Like this dude is working really, really hard, not only to put out a good product for you, but to make sure that the people in his market who are watching him every single night know what is going on and staying safe. So I thought like this is a really enlightening moment for some people to kind of see like what this looks like behind the scenes, see how the sausage is made. Because again, I'm not a hero by any means, but we're recording this at midnight, okay? After this dude has worked all day. And that says a lot about the type of like person Jacob is, A, to say like, hey, I want to cover the story from wall to wall, and B, that he has time to do this podcast with me and do this part too, because this is the fun part, not the part that, pays the bills.
Yeah, not at all pays the bill.
You know what I mean? But I thought
Yeah.
I thought that's important for sure.
No, yeah, no. I think people forget too that we just kind of do this for fun, and at the end of the day, it's just kind of you and me blowing steam, and we would have had these conversations anyway, most likely, you and me.
Yeah.
But I was in like a really tight spot in my life, and I was like, oh my God, I need to figure out a way to make some more cheddar around here. Things are not happening, and I was just really kind of disaffected by the work I was doing at the time, just for a multitude of reasons, but mostly just an attitude problem in myself. And doing this podcast every week like gave me a new problem to think about. And so creatively, I got that switch back, And I was like, oh my gosh. And so like it's helped me in a lot of ways. And so if I can help you guys
Yeah,
understand the situation a little
the
better.
only person who's like, I need more stuff to do, Jacob
Yeah.
Rodriguez. I need to come up with another problem to solve.
Absolutely. No, no, literally, like at work, I told you before, but like the best thing that I was told this entire week was, oh my God, Jacob's here again. And then like towards the end of the week, it was like, no, thank God, Jacob's here. Like he was here the last few days. And one of my favorite anchors walked out and was like, yeah, people were saying I've been here the longest, but you definitely have like owned this entire story.
It's
So
good to have your
it's really cool to have your peers like look at you like that because these are all people I super super respect and
for sure, and it's good to have a good hand on the wheel, steady hand on the wheel.
yeah. Well, that's enough about me, buddy. I want to talk about you for a second because your life and this maybe this is a sneak peek at how we're going to be doing things in the future
Yeah.
with the things that you're going on. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's only been I wanted to do, and again, there's a lot more pressing issues than us not getting to do a podcast in person together. I wanted to do our last podcast while I'm in San Antonio together, but that's not going to happen because I am moving again. 18 months in San Antonio. We did the first podcast, I want to say in December of 2023. We did it at the zoo. Do you remember that?
Oh, in
Our
person. Yeah.
in
Yeah.
person. It was the
Yeah.
first person pod, and it was the last in person pod that we did. So that is something. But yeah, no. So I'm
Guess
moving.
we'll always have queen size beds at bowl games, you know?
Yes, we will always have our solo queen size bed. You, me, and Colton on the floor. So I'm moving to
Can you
Milwaukee.
tell our audience anything about your role?
Yeah, I can. So I'm moving to Milwaukee to join Good Karma. Nobody seems to care about that brand outside of the state of Texas, or inside the state of Texas, which is interesting to me. I'm moving from my role in at iHeart to a different company, which is going to be really cool. It's a really good opportunity. The only downside, obviously, was that we were looking forward to Mortal Kombating some UTSA fans in the parking lot of the Alamo Dome this year, but Jacob's going to have to go solo dolo on that, I think. But yeah, no, it's going to be exciting. It is, like I said, though, it is sad not to be around Bobcat Stadium. I got one good year. I got to see GJ Kenny and crew. We went to 2 bowl games, and we're planning on going to a bunch more. That is the bowl game fiascos will not change. The Pac-12 in next year, there's a world where Jacob and I end up going to San Diego State because that seems like the place that wants us the most, and it's the place we want to go. So there's a pretty good chance that we do a boys trip out there at some point. But no, we're doing it day by day, step by step. But this is probably due to a bunch of other factors the last time we will get this type of setup, which again, super disappointing that I wasn't here longer, but excited to go to the next step.
That's good, dude. I'm proud of you. I know, there's some people in your life currently giving you resistance for this choice, and I'm not one of those.
Yeah, yeah. No, so this is where I can air out some dirty laundry here and really go after somebody. Yeah, Ryan Zimmel. Ryan Zimmel, the youngest of the Zimmel brothers, is arguably, and look, I love the kid. 22 years old, just graduated college. Go hire him. But he decided to move out of his apartment of college the same week I'm trying to move to Milwaukee, which means I don't have a strong back and weak mind to help me move.
Yeah,
Instead,
you wanted him to drive up with you.
I wanted him to drive up with me, if not in the same U-Haul with me, in my car driving up as like a caravan. Instead, my 60-year-old mother is going to have to drive my car up. Yeah.
Jane Zimmel.
Jane Zimmel is going to have to be the person who's helping me move furniture, drive up. And look, I splurged. I got her a nice hotel. We're not doing the full thing because if it was up to me,
I know why your dad hates you, actually.
yeah. So here's the thing. Ryan already checked out my dad to have him help him move. So he's taking the truck, taking the flatbed, right? Like
He got the number one pony.
He got the number one pony. Even though since let's say mid May, I've been telling people 21st is the first day. I'm moving this week.
Wow.
Somewhere communication failed in the Zimmel group chat.
That's great.
But yeah, no, not a super big fan of the youngest.
What's
today.
your brother Jesse doing? You can't take the day off?
He's lives in Houston. I thought about it. I was like, hey, can I? But it's hard because he works for TxDOT, and if you have been keeping up with the weather, there's a tropical storm brewing as well.
Yikes,
In,
right?
that is something that I think the entire state of Texas does not want, especially the city of Houston, who has been known to be hit by hurricanes. So they're kind of on like hurricane watch a little bit and like seeing like how does that develop. So look, you only can do what you can do. Packing sucks, guys. If you haven't moved recently, don't like lock in. If you have a girlfriend or a wife who you're like, hey, I think I could, get a bachelor pad. Don't do it because moving sucks. So I'm a single dude. I don't have a lot of stuff. It's still such a pain to move, bro.
If I could give one piece of advice to the young man out there, never move in with a
No, we learned a valuable lesson.
valuable lesson in Squaring Around season one.
The
And
folks,
if
yeah.
you're a fan of Squaring Around season one, lock in because this season is just turning into that pretty much again.
Yeah, if you like the original, guess what? The writers they went back to the shop. We got
Remix.
it. It'll be good. It'll be exciting.
Last year, the Sun Belt,
Yeah.
perfect year to do it. You get back to Texas next year, you're right as rain.
Oh yeah, just bouncing back and forth. It could happen. Totally could happen. I will say this though. We do want to do watch alongs this year, and because this is a spot where Jake will be in different spots, this is perfect, I think, because this was originally the inception of the pod was us talking during these football games on ESPN Plus.
Mhm.
And if we are moving to a different like location, I don't think it's a bad idea to put the YouTube channel on private, throw up the ESPN Plus video, and then have us talk over it. I don't see a problem with that. So we will see if we can get past some copyright laws and see what happens.
Well, at least we could put up a Zoom link, have a few free people join, put up the mic, want to talk, you talk.
Yeah.
Kind of like Spaces, but not really, you know?
Spaces, but on YouTube. Spaces,
Spaces,
but
but
like
like
people
very
with video.
long. Yeah.
Yeah, and well, I think it'd be fun. Throw up the score. There's ways to do it. We're working on those ways. Headline: Zimmel leaves. Subline: Thank God. Body of the article. Second paragraph. Zoom.
We're figuring it out.
Yeah.
I don't know. This nothing has changed. There was a few weeks ago, there was some changes at DCTF. Everybody was like, "Oh my God, what about squaring around?" The number one thing about this entire thing. We're fine.
Yeah.
Number two, news happens. Where's Jacob? Don't worry about it.
On the
Squaring's
pod.
fine. Yeah.
On the pod.
Zimmel gets a new job. What's going on? Oh no, we're fine still.
Yeah. Yeah. So it'll be exciting. It'll be very, very exciting to.
So the last year
kinda
of the
see
Sun
what
Belt
goes.
really just kind of got a lot juicier too.
Did
Now
it?
we can kind of burn some bridges. Like you're over there.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No. Now that I'm
Don't
out of
even
the
need
market
the Sun
again,
Belt really anymore.
throwing grenades. We don't need them.
We don't need them.
We don't need them. Keep down.
Every conference game that we have, just DM
Burn
players, get them on
I-
our show.
Dude, let me tell you, I was thinking about this as I was driving back to my apartment today about how Texas State, I think the win total is like 7.5 again this year for us, or 8.5. And I was like, if there's ever a year for Texas State to struggle out of the gate, it would be like this year, the last year of the Sun Belt. It would be very Texas State if we got our 7th win, the final week of the season, and Jacob and I are running our solo queen bed once again in Dallas, Texas.
That's tough. As we race to the DFW airport that we can't find.
Dude, well, would be our luck again if this is what we do, where it's like, hey, Jake, pick me up from the DFW airport this time.
This is pretty cool though, because we started this podcast and we were always long distance relationship. Now, like, how good have we gotten since that problem? So this is like we time traveled back in time. Okay, I'm you from the future. How do we solve this problem now?
Don't eat on camera. That's the number one thing. First episode, Jake was like, hey, camera's on. I was like, oh, eating at McDonald's. Cool. And look how we've grown since then. We've gotten better.
There's some weird guys on the internet that are probably just watching that video looking at you like,
over and over again. Yeah.
Yeah, Big Mac. Yeah.
Yeah. And we got better cameras. We got worse cameras. I was going back and watching from a couple weeks ago. I was like, dude, I need to step up my camera game and
I watched
audio
a couple
game.
of those season like once I thought I had figured it out.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's getting better every time.
All
You
that to
can't.
say, thanks for sticking with us, guys, because we've
Yeah.
got a coalition that is mighty and growing by the day. And
You
the
gonna
best
call him
way
by the
to keep
name?
in contact with us, the Cuatro Corners Cartel. Come on, man.
The
You
C
already know.
the C triple C.
Triple C in the chat. And Mexico beat the US. Shout out.
Shout out Mexico.
Shout out. Viva Mex El Tri. But the best way for you guys to keep in contact with us, subscribe to us on YouTube, subscribe to the newsletter. Don't miss a damn thing,
Oh
man.
yeah. By the way, newsletter was incredible this week too.
Yeah, yeah.
Good newsletter. Got a lot of people wondering, hey, where is that newsletter when you posted the link like 2 hours early?
I know. That was on me. I also did say newsletter tomorrow, and then it was like noon and I hadn't written it yet. And I was
President of the university texted us, where's the newsletter? It's like, well, buddy, lock in.
like, yikes.
Jacob just had a cup of coffee and it's rated, so
Yeah.
we'll see.
Little did I know that was really the calm before the storm was all the Pac-12 stuff on Monday. Oh my
Yeah.
God, what a long week. That feels like forever ago.
No, that's what I'm saying. It was like we talked to Danvers on Monday, and then the next thing you know, we're talking to Ish, and then the next thing you know, we're talking to midnight.
Yeah, that's what happens when
So
you work. I worked 8 days straight. So that's not even close to my all-time record. I think my record in news is working 15 days straight.
mm.
That
What
was
story was that? Cleary?
it was when Snowvid happened. It was like the
Oh.
perfect storm of things. Like I had already worked like a week straight, and then Snowvid happened, and I lived closest to the station at the time, and I was working at the other station over here in San Antonio. And so I walked to that station, was our digital guy the entire time for 4 days straight. So that's already 7 plus 4. Uh, and then some other things happened where I just had to take over and be like the web manager. It was dumb. That was year one of my career too.
So, and you'll get a kick out of this. So, if you've been thinking about the travels of Andrew Zimmel, when I left in 21, it was during the ice storm, right?
Hmm.
And then now leaving in 2025, 4th of July. So it's
Maybe
like,
that's why I don't remember you moving the first time because I was
yeah,
so I was so busy at work, dude.
dude, I'm telling you, man. Also, by the way, in case you were curious, Abilene closer to my parents' house than Houston, Texas.
Really?
Kind of, yeah. Did not realize that. It's about 3.5 to Abilene. It's about 4 to Houston.
Eat your
So
heart out, Colton McWilliams.
yeah, kind of crazy. I
Oh,
did not realize that.
shout out Colton, the two-time defending sports champ of the year. I forget what organization that is that he's won that award for.
Jacob, why are you doing this to me?
Is it Associated Press?
Why are you doing this to me?
All right.
You know I don't care about awards.
You did a good job. I got an
You
Emmy
did.
sitting right there.
I yeah, I love Colton. I'm glad that all of my friends have awards. That's good.
You know what my award is? Your
Uh-huh.
friendship.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
All right. So you worked 100 days this week. Where are you going now?
I'm going to Miami, dude, with
All
my family.
right.
Yeah. So I earned this vacation. All my bosses told me that. They were like, "We will be
There you go.
fine without you for a week." So
Did
go
some
read your
of
Bruce Springsteen book that nobody cared that you bought at half price books.
did
Did I tell
some
you
of
that
the
story already?
reason
Did I
did,
tell you?
did some of the reason that you worked so hard this week because you knew you were taking a week off?
Yes.
You felt guilty?
Yeah, because I could have dipped after Friday, after my like second like 12-hour day, but I was like, I'm gonna feel like such a jerk if I don't work Saturday and Sunday because I'm off all next week anyway.
So you went to half price books, and what happened?
Well, I went to Half Price Books because I wanted that new Bruce Springsteen book. It's called "Deliver Me from Nowhere" by Warren Zanes, and it's what the Jeremy Allen White
Alan White,
movie's
yeah.
based on. So I wanted that book. So I went to Half Price Books and I was like, "Hey, I'm looking for this book. It's the book that the Jeremy Allen White movie is going to be based on." And they're like, "Oh, there's only one copy. It's in Indiana. Do you want it?" And I was like, "Yeah, it sounds like fate." And the lady was like, "Whatever, dude." Didn't say anything about that. Started typing it up. She was like, "Just tell them I ordered you a book at the front." And I was like, "Cool." So I went to the front and they're like, "Yeah, can we help you?" And I was like, "They ordered me a book." And then before they could even go, "Yeah, we got it," I go, "It's the Jeremy Allen." The guy completely unimpressed, hands me my receipt. He goes, "All right, see you later." And I was like,
Dude.
I just wanted to read it before the movie came out. He's like, "Dude, shut up.
So
Nobody
I
cares about it.
have
I'm reading this book."
I have the opposite interaction with half price employees. Last Christmas, we do our gift to the entire group. Every year, they come up with a really good gift. I am the worst at gift giving. So I got like a book for every one of our friends in the friend group, like for the personality. And I thought, you're putting yourself out there emotionally. You don't know how dudes are going to react to that. It went over really well. But the person who was the biggest fan of the idea was the androgynous individual at Half Price Books behind the counter, who was like, "This is great. This is like, men don't do this for men. They need to do it more." I was like, "Hey, this is great. Sean, I don't know. Good stuff. Like, we were all here. This is so I have only gotten positive from the Half Price Books employees. What does that say about you?"
Let me tell you another negative experience I had at Half Price Books. Went into Half Price Books, same location, by the way,
Yeah.
same location. This is right by my jujitsu studio, so maybe they just have a lot of douchebag guys walk in.
I don't know.
This guy's
Do jujitsu
performative
guys
reading.
read? Can
That's
jujitsu
good.
guys read?
Yeah, fair point. They don't read, can't read, maybe. But
Yeah.
I go into the thing. This is like at the height of my depression last year. I walk in. I was like, I need to start doing stuff. Let me read The Hobbit. So I go, "Hey, lady, do you guys have any copies of The Hobbit?" The lady looks at me up and down. I'm in my like jujitsu gear. I'm about to go to class. She goes, "Maybe if school's in session." I go, "What the hell does that mean?" And she just points me to the sci-fi section and tells me to get out of here.
Dude, that's tough. I got my book on Dawn to Decadence. It's a good book about Western society. Your brother and I are reading it in a book club.
Oh, yeah.
You don't think it's very cool. That's fine. No big deal.
You told me you
But
guys broke your streak recently.
yeah,
I just
yeah,
thought it was weird that you're like ahead of him and he's behind you. So
well,
it's the opposite of what a book club is.
it's kind of like an ELS guy with Jace because he's reading this book at the slowest pace human, and I like him. I like that we're reading it together. I like that we're calling each other, talking about it. But he's 50 pages behind me now, which is like a lot when you talk about this book. Consider that I read about like 10 to 20 pages a day. It takes me about an hour, hour and a half. He is gonna be way behind. So, but it's fun. It's good.
He's got a couple flights ahead of him.
No, and he told me today he's got a couple flights. He's not taking the book as carry on. So I was like, okay, that's fine. So we'll catch up because I'm packing this whole week, so I'm not gonna get to read. So we probably will be in a similar spot next week when we hit this time. But yeah, we'll see. But also, I have to consider this. I'm moving to an area where there's not a lot to do come November through like February. So I kind of need this book to last me till then almost so that I have something to read. Because I promise you, if you thought I was outside in San Antonio, you do not know how outside I'm going to be in Milwaukee because dude, so where
The
you
dating
live,
scene? That's what I was gonna ask you. Is the dating scene
the
like,
dating scene looks okay. We went on Hinge, we moved the location, we've been collecting matches. Hey, 2 weeks. The problem is that this whole process took like 3 months. So there's a couple girls on the back end of this.
I didn't think this deal was gonna get done, I'll be honest.
We didn't think we'd get over the finish line.
You're like Trump, you're preaching peace in the Middle East. I was like, will this ever come? Will this deal ever happen?
Will this deal ever happen? So what happened? So there's a couple of very nice young women who were told in like May, 2 weeks from now. So,
Your Hinge location has been in since May?
yeah, since like May.
Oh my God.
So that's what I'm telling you. I've seen the promise.
You've seen the talent. You've seen the talent.
I've done a very deep dive. I did more tape study on Milwaukee women than on this NBA draft class. I'll tell you,
Wow.
it's been
And
something.
you know what? You've done a fair amount on this NBA draft class.
The fair amount of the NBA draft class. So I will say that the location that Jacob is currently in, if we're gonna dox where he lives, to downtown, right? It's a good drive. What would you say? Like 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes to get downtown? Yeah.
Like real downtown? Or
Real
like,
downtown. Like we're talking like,
yeah,
we're
like
talking 10 minutes. Okay. My apartment is 2 blocks away from the downtown district.
Yeah, no way.
So I'm living, hopefully we'll be, but if it's far away from the sports stadiums, which I'm not super in love with, but that's neither here nor there. But there are things to do. I'm excited. Hopefully Zimmelboy is out doing stuff. Could this be the summer of Zim? We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
I'm excited.
But
This is a new chapter. You're
and
forging a new
and
horizon.
look, everywhere I've ever moved outside of San Antonio, everywhere I've moved has been very much strict no go. Like I've told Jacob, do not come visit me in North Dakota. I've told my friends, do not come visit me in North Dakota. It's nothing to do. There's nothing to see. Well, we want to see you. No, you don't. You'll do 2 hours and you'll be like, this is boring as hell. Don't do that. Milwaukee's different, dog. We're back. We have a place. We have a place where people can come and see me.
Actually, though, like because you moved away the first time is what sparked this whole podcast. 'Cause
Yeah.
you would have to call me sporadically to keep this friendship going. I would do the same thing because I was like, we got to check on this guy. We don't know what he's liable to
Has
do
he
out
shaved
there
his head
alone.
back? Has he shaved his head again?
Okay, how did he grow his hair back? That's weird. He bought boots now?
The boots are cool. Shout out to Covis.
Shout out to Kovas. Yeah.
I need to get the boot oil.
But that's the whole reason we started doing this podcast.
So what do you think
started
happens
having
now?
these like hour and a half long conversations?
What happens now that I move? If innovation was the product of me moving the first time, what do we do now?
Like,
Yeah.
what is gonna happen?
VR?
I'm excited to see VR squaring around.
Who
Who
says
would
no?
want that?
I don't know.
We're
I
gonna be
know
doing it's gonna be us doing the podcast at Brackenridge Park in VR while a bunch of furries sit around us.
I can tell one person who would not have loved the idea of VR headset with Jacob and me. She's a witch.
Oh.
She would have hated that.
If you know, you know.
She would have hated the VR headset to Jacob Zimmel pod. It would have been great. It would have been incredible. A little meta. Put them on.
It probably would have been easier to edit that. I'll be honest. It's crazy because I've said it 1,000 times before. If this was an audio only podcast, I probably would be married by now. But que sera, you know?
I am so vain. I need to see myself on camera. And that's why I can do 100 hours of news coverage. Could you imagine?
That's why I had to run in a parking lot to keep my mile streak going.
Did you really?
I did run in a parking lot to keep my mile streak going.
In your clothes or what?
Yeah, full jeans and Birks.
Dude, that's awful.
Yep, it certainly was. I'll be the first to say.
So what are your 5 things you're going to do in Miami?
I'm there to vibe. I have no plans. I have no inhibitions. I'm there to use my daddy's credit card and drink.
Good.
I'm gonna do whatever my sister wants, and I'm gonna have a good attitude the entire time. That's what I bring to the table.
So when I'm texting you being like, I cannot believe how hard packing is, you're going to text me back photos of the beach. Is that what I'm hearing?
Maybe. Yeah. I think we're gonna spend a lot of time on the beach. I haven't packed at all. My mom called me very frantically yesterday, and she was like, I know you're working. I know you're very busy. Have you taken any time to pack? And I was just like, mother. And she was like, I understand, but we're leaving. You understand that, right? On Monday. And
what time's the flight? 8 a.m.?
10, I think. I have to be at the airport at 8. Yeah.
So you get done with the pod, you throw some underwear in a bag. That's how dudes do it. You'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be all right. Throw the Springsteen book in, throw some swim trunks. We'll be all right.
How many swim trunks do you have?
I got a fair amount of swim trunks, man. I lived in Corpus for a year and a half.
Dude, I didn't even think about that. But I would imagine.
And I was a lifeguard, bro. First responder.
So okay, hold on. Run that one back. So because you were a lifeguard, you're going to have multiple pairs of swim trunks?
How many days of the week are there? That's how many times
you
I
got
was at the pool.
5?
I got 7, bro.
Dude, that's that's the most swim trunks I know anybody to have. 7. I think 7's too many.
I think you could get away with only having like 3.
3 seems like the right number.
Yeah.
7 seems like a lot.
7.
Comment below. How many swim trunks is too many swim trunks?
How many swim trunks should we get rid of before our move to the Pac-12?
Oh, no, I need to go get more swim trunks. I'm telling you, the San Diego State, Texas State, it's not a rivalry. It's a exchange of cultures. We're going to make that happen. That is happening. So
I hope those games are clean. I hope the tailgates are fun, because I don't want any bad blood between us ever.
No.
This is like UNICEF, or
Yeah.
what's that other thing called?
NATO. This is like the Pac-12. There's no, if they win, congrats. If we win, congrats. If we play in the conference championship, we're going to do it with honor and dignity. I want to have a good relationship with those people because I want to have a good time in San Diego.
A lot of those guys have beach houses. And guess what? I'm a great house guest.
Oh, yeah. He's house trained.
Super clean.
Mm-hmm.
It is a fiddle.
Yeah.
You have trouble talking to girls? I'm your guy.
That's your guy. That's hilarious. No,
Now,
I'm down. I'm excited.
Tell me something mean about reading The Hobbit at the ripe age of 27. Yeah, I'm going to have some words from you.
Have you read The Hobbit before?
Never.
Have you read it yet? Is this the beach book?
I'm on page 7. No, I'm reading Springsteen. Got to read Springsteen.
No, let me tell you. I read The Hobbit when we were in middle school, and I didn't get it. I didn't understand the hype. I'm be honest with you.
I think I'm going to take 2 books. I'm going to take Springsteen and something else.
I read like 2 books plus like an audiobook when I went to Europe. I was like,
it is some time to kill. I think this is only like a 4-hour flight that we're going on.
4-hour flight. I did like 10 hours. Can you read this book? Can you read the title of this book?
The Greatest Sports Arguments of All Time.
And this book came out in 2002. Dude, I read this thing and I took notes and I was like, this is how we're going to fill the summer. Like, this is how, if we do summer radio, we are filling the summer with these takes. I'm excited. So, yeah. Anyway,
all that to say, new things coming on the horizon.
I guess. I don't know. So what do you want to do next week?
We'll get back on our regular schedule and have like a real episode.
Let me tell you what
I have some records that I'm sitting on that I was going to bust out in this week, but I realized I was going to Miami and I was like, that might not work. Luckily, you and I had a lot to talk about. And unfortunately, we had a lot to talk about because of the status of the world around us.
I leave on the 14th. I pack and leave. 14th is when the U-Haul rolls out.
Okay. I will be available.
Okay. Do you want to record on Sunday morning? Saturday?
Next Sunday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, because the reason I ask all this is because, and you can edit this part out. The reason I ask this is because I got to put this whole thing away. Yeah. Like, I got to pack this. So I'm wondering.
I'll just do it off your laptop.
But I'm going to have to send the internet back too.
Oh.
You know what I mean? That's what my headspace is with this.
You can do it on your phone.
Do you want that?
It wouldn't be the worst thing. This is a really great camera.
But the audio is going to suck ass.
Oh, yeah. You don't have one of these like mics that you plug in like I do.
No. So maybe we'll figure it out. What time do you come home? You come back Friday or Saturday?
Saturday.
What time?
I don't even know. That's how much of on a vibe I am.
All right, let's do this. We will plan for midnight Saturday.
Okay. Midnight to Pac-12. We got to get on the schedule.
Get on the Pac-12 schedule. All right. Thanks for squaring, everybody.
Peace and love to the Hill Country.
Yes.
We don't need no badges. I don't have to show you any stinking badges.
Better not come any closer.
Thanks for listening. New episodes out every Thursday. Follow the boys on Twitter. Eat 'em up. Eat 'em up.